Peace be upon you, everyone. God willing, we're about to start a new course titled Steering AI Agenting Engineering within Aton. This topic is extremely important and very relevant in the times we're living in right now. I want to tell you that there's a new term that's appeared in companies. Nowadays, companies are starting to look for something called an AI Agenting Engineer. So this course will be a comprehensive course, meaning it will cover AI Agenting Engineering or agentic engineering from scratch, all the way until you actually become an AI agent engineer. You'll be able to create applications in various fields, even very complex applications, and you'll be able to do AI automation yourself very easily. For this course, you won't be required to have any prior coding knowledge. You just need to have a very basic understanding of coding, and even if you don't have that, the material will still be very simple for you. In this course, I'll focus on both the theoretical and practical aspects together. We'll dive a bit deep into the theory, understanding everything about AI agents from a theoretical perspective, and then we'll start applying what we've learned in practical applications. These practical applications will be things that are personal to you, things that will benefit you in your daily life, and also help you in your work as well. And at the same time, it will also benefit you if you start working on projects for companies or things like that. I'm Mohammed El-Shami. I'm currently pursuing a PhD in the US in AI and its applications in hardware security and performance engineering for SoC chips, or performance enhancement for SoCs. All right, let's start our course. First, we'll look at some examples that will show us the importance of the AI agent and what an AI agent actually is. We'll understand this topic through two very simple examples that we'll go through now. First of all, guys, let's suppose that you, for example, have a small restaurant. This restaurant has, say, 3 or 5 tables and 2 or 3 chefs. Yeah, cooks. So it's a very simple setup. You have, let's say, one waiter. You have 2 or 3 chefs and 3 or 4 tables in the restaurant. So how does everything work in the restaurant? First, the people wait for the waiters so they can tell them their order after they've chosen what they want. Then, the waiter is supposed to take that order and go to the person responsible for that specific order to give it to them so they can prepare it. For example, if you want pizza, he goes to the pizza chef and tells him to make that order. All right? After that, it's supposed to... Now, this restaurant is just a small place, so there aren't any problems. Everything runs very smoothly and there are no issues. Okay, now let's suppose that you got lucky and tried to expand this restaurant, and you started getting, say, about 1,000 customers a day. Right? So what are you going to do with those 1,000 customers? Now, in order to handle 1,000 customers, you have to hire new staff. Like, you need to hire new waiters. Okay? Of course, that's going to cost you money. And naturally, because of the crowd and the large number of orders, the orders will be delayed. And since we're human, it's only natural that mistakes will happen during the process of serving the food or getting the orders out to the customers. So let's talk about or pinpoint the exact problem. The problem now is that we have something called human limits or breakdown, meaning the human capacity we have in the restaurant can't meet the customer's needs. So why does this happen? First of all, you have a lot of customers who all want to get their orders at the same time, right? You have to hire new waiters to be able to keep up with that large number of customers. Okay, as we said, since we're human, mistakes are bound to happen. For example, someone might mix things up or do something wrong, and that annoys the customer. So what's the solution? How do we solve this problem? People are asking, what can we do? They said, instead of having the restaurant owner hire new waiters, which would cost him money, we could make him an automated employee, an employee powered by artificial intelligence who can understand human language and interact with people, but isn't actually a person. It's just artificial intelligence. So, what are we going to do? He said, so what are we going to start doing? He said that on every table, we're going to put something like a tablet. And on this tablet, we'll install artificial intelligence. All right? He said, now you have something, for example, that you can ask questions to, and it will answer you just like a human would. Meaning, if you ask it about anything, it can answer you. So he said, okay, we can put something like that on this small device. And at the same time, we'll also put all the restaurant's information on this small device. That means we'll put the restaurant's menu on it. For example, we'll include information about the pizza chef, the chef who grills the chicken, and many other things. So, on the AI that's installed inside this device, we'll put all this information. Okay, after we add all this information, we can also upload the customer database to it. For instance, if I have 1,000 customers and these customers register their information the first time they come to the restaurant, then the AI that I put on this device, let's say it's ChatGPT, will also have all this customer data loaded onto it. So after I do that, what will happen? Of course, I'll put a speaker in this device, for example. All right, and I'll also put a mic there. So what will happen now? First, when the customer comes in, they'll start by pressing any button on the screen to activate it. After that, the device will greet the customer and say something like, "How can I help you?" or "What do you need?" So, for example, the customer will say, "I want a pizza. I want lemonade. I want this, that," and so on. Then the AI inside this device will start collecting the order, right? It will take the order, understand it well, and based on the type of order, it will send it to the chef or the specific chef who specializes in that item. After that, it might even make suggestions, like it could say, "Should I get you a salad? Should I get you tahini? Should I get you this or that?" It will suggest things as well, because the current AI can understand information and can speak in human language. That's where the idea of the AI agent came from. The AI agent is basically an artificial intelligence employee, an employee but not a human. It's an employee that operates with artificial intelligence, or can think like a human using AI. This AI agent is basically a small thing you put on an electronic device that can communicate with people, understand what they're saying, and take action based on what they want. So, simply put, that's what an AI agent is. In other words, it's like I've replaced the waiter with this small device that has artificial intelligence, which can understand and respond based on the orders it receives. All right? What happened here is that, for example, based on the customer's order, it determined the type of chef needed, and it also made suggestions. So, is this really that useful? Of course, it's very useful. The first benefit we got from this system is now we no longer have. Yeah, so as soon as an order is placed, it gets processed really quickly because now the whole process is automatic. The order goes straight to the chef, and the chef can get it done fast. Then, since the system is now running on artificial intelligence, like a machine that actually understands, the number of mistakes has dropped significantly. You could say there are almost no mistakes, or maybe just a 1% error rate. After that, if, for example, my restaurant used to handle 1,000 customers and I want to expand it to handle 10,000 customers, it becomes really easy. That's because my AI agents, or the employee powered by artificial intelligence, doesn't need any changes. All I have to do is increase the number of devices I have and add more tables, and that's it. I don't need to hire anyone new, I don't need to hire more waiters, so it won't cost me extra money. Of course, this will save a lot of money. At the same time, if the AI, as I told you at the beginning, already has the customer's data or history stored on it, right? If it has the customer's history stored, then as soon as the customer, for example, taps the screen and enters their name or their number, the AI will immediately suggest to them the dishes they've ordered before. And that's something a normal person can't do. There isn't a waiter in the whole world who could remember like 1,000 customers and the orders they've made over the past months, right? But the AI can remember that, or, well, not exactly remember. It can go and check what's stored in the restaurant and know that this person ordered these dishes before or that they like these dishes. So it can immediately suggest them to the customer. It could say, "How about I get you this or that or the other?" And here's where the power of the AI agent or the artificial intelligence employee really shows. Okay, let's take another example to make things even clearer. Imagine, for instance, that 2 or 3 doctors got together and opened a small clinic. So when a patient first arrives, they're supposed to go to the receptionist and tell her their symptoms, this, and that. She starts recording them, and then she sends the patient to the nurse specialized for that issue. After that, the nurse sends the patient to the doctor who deals with those specific symptoms. Now, let's suppose these doctors are doing well and want to open a big hospital, and this hospital, for example, receives 1,000 patients a day. If we stick to the old way of doing things, you'll find the process is tedious. The receptionist, for example, if there are 5 of them and they're getting 1,000 patients a day, will be overwhelmed. So the whole thing would be extremely exhausting, and there would be a lot of mistakes, and the waiting time for patients would be really long. Okay, so to solve this issue, it's the same thing, guys. We need to pinpoint exactly what problems happened when we expanded the hospital. When we made the hospital bigger, now we have 1,000 or even 10,000 patients a day. The receptionist area is going to be super crowded. That's the second problem. Patients have to wait a really long time just to get checked in. Of course, the staff would be exhausted all day, and there would be a lot of mistakes. So to solve this issue, it's exactly the same solution. We start by bringing in a smart device like this one and install an AI agent on it, an artificial intelligence employee. This AI agent, as soon as the patient comes in, will have the patient register their information, and the AI agent will talk to them, ask about their symptoms. Then, the AI agent will understand the symptoms well and immediately direct them to the doctor's room that specializes in those symptoms. So, the AI agent is a really important topic and saves the company a lot of time and money. Some hospitals, even without installing devices like these on site, have the AI agent handle these requests or receive patients online. That means while you're at home, you can open the hospital's website and start a chat with the hospital. You'll find someone responding to you. That's the AI agent, an artificial intelligence employee. You start explaining your symptoms, and based on what you describe, the AI agent determines whether it's an emergency case or a regular case. Based on that, it sets a specific appointment for you. And if your phone number is stored, it sends you a message with your appointment time. It also picks the right doctor for your case. Okay, so what problems did the AI agent solve in this hospital? Now we don't have long lines anymore. Patients can check in or even book appointments from home. They don't need to come in. Now the number of mistakes is very low because this is artificial intelligence. It doesn't forget details. At the same time, it can direct patients to the right doctor based on the symptoms described, because it can understand, as you saw. We said it's like ChatGPT on the inside, or it actually is ChatGPT, or Gemini, or any kind of AI. We'll understand later what the differences are between them. We'll get to that in a bit. Also, if you want to expand the hospital to handle up to 10,000 patients, it'll be very easy. You won't need to hire new staff because everything is running on AI, so you save even more money. If the AI has all the patient's history stored, then, for example, if this patient here registers her info on the device and the AI knows she had a certain illness before, it will immediately, without a long conversation, direct her to the doctor she's seen several times before. Of course, no human could memorize the database of 1,000 or 10,000 patients to direct them to the right doctor. That's where the power of the AI agent shows. Now, we want to explain the difference between LLM, large language models, and agentic AI. From the previous examples, we understood what an AI agent is, but we haven't yet understood what an LLM is. So, in this series, we want to distinguish between them. First, we'll define what an AI agent is, okay? And after that, we'll explain what an LLM is, and what the difference is between it and the AI agent. The AI agent is a system designed to autonomously achieve goals by perceiving its environment, reasoning, making plans, taking actions, and adapting based on feedback. Okay, let's try to understand this with the example of the car in front of us. The two examples we discussed in the previous slides, I think, made it clear what an AI agent is and what its uses are in real life. Here, we'll also explain it using the example of the car you see here. Let's assume that the AI agent is the person, or rather the car, along with the person inside it. That is, the whole car, together with the person sitting in it, is called the AI agent. Now, if the person sitting in the car in front of you doesn't have a mind, let's say, for example, that he has no mind or is insane. Let's assume he's insane. If an insane person is sitting in this car, would he be able to drive it? Of course not. He wouldn't be able to drive it. So the AI agent, without a brain, without a human mind, or without any mind at all, wouldn't be able to drive the car. Now, the AI agent's brain, the mind of the AI agent that allows it to think or make decisions, is what we call the LLM, or large language model. So this large language model, guys, could be, for example, ChatGPT, right? It could be Gemini, it could be Claude, it could be any kind of AI model. We know that AI models are able to think, understand the words you say, and even respond in human language or in the language people use. So the brain of the AI agent is always any large language model. It could be ChatGPT, it could come from iCloud, any of these types. Now, if you have a brain, meaning if you as a person are sitting in the car and your mind is present, you're not crazy, everything's working perfectly, well, if this car doesn't have a gas pedal or a brake pedal, would you be able to drive it? Of course not. You wouldn't be able to drive it. That's why the AI agent needs a brain, which is the LLM, and it also needs something called tools. Tools. We'll get to know them later. But in the example in front of us, the tools are like the brake pedal, which is the brake, and the oil pedal, which is the gas pedal. And of course, there are other things in the car, like the steering wheel, which is the steering wheel that you use to drive the car. So these are the tools you use to move the car. And of course, the car's engine is also one of the very important things, or one of the tools in the car that you also use to make the car move. So the AI agent, or the artificial intelligence employee, must have a brain inside that can think and interact with the surrounding environment, and at the same time can make decisions, and also can take actions. Which are those decisions? Okay, so how is it going to take those actions? It will do so through the tools that are installed with it. For example, if the person in front of us feels that the car is slow. So how does he feel that the car is slow? By looking at the speed in front of him and seeing that, for example, the speed is 20 and the road ahead is empty. The road ahead is empty, so you need to speed up the car. Okay, so how does the AI agent understand that the car is slow and, based on that, decide that it needs to take action or use one of the tools it has to speed up the car? It does this through its own intelligence, which interacts with the surrounding environment. Then, as soon as it looks at the environment, whether through its eyes, a camera, or any other means, it understands that the car's speed is slow. So it starts using the accelerator to speed up the car. Now, after it speeds up the car, it will also get feedback. Where does this feedback come from? The feedback will come from the car's dashboard, where the speed will be displayed. Let's say it's 130. So once it sees that the speed is 130, it will start to maintain that speed or keep its foot steady on the gas pedal. So what we're saying is that the AI agent interacts with the environment, right? So it interacts with the environment, just like this person realized the car was slow because the street was empty and the speed was 20. That means it's interacting with its surroundings. After it interacts with the environment and receives its inputs, it can understand them through reasoning. All the AI stuff like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude can do reasoning, meaning they can understand the current situation. Then they can make a specific plan or take a certain action. So what is this action that it takes? For example, it might press the gas pedal or the brake pedal. After it takes the action, it starts to get feedback on the action it took. Like we said, after it speeds up, the speed shows up on the dashboard, so it immediately knows that the car is now going fast, so I keep my foot steady on the gas pedal, and so on. Okay, that's for the AI agent. Now for the LLM, the large language model. The large language model, guys, like we said, is like ChatGPT. You write to it, for example, asking it to explain something or telling it you want it to do your homework. So what does it do? Basically, it's a text generator trained to predict the next word. ChatGPT, for example, is trained so that if you ask it to do something specific, it's trained to predict how to respond to you. It understands what you say, and then it's trained to predict the words it will use to reply. So guys, LLMs, large language models like ChatGPT 4, Gemini, or Claude, are things that generate human language. They generate language like humans do, answer specific questions, can summarize the set of things for you, or even write code for you, but they can't actually take any action. So if we go to ChatGPT right now and, for example, tell it, hey, ChatGPT, open my emails and read them, and then if you find a certain email, reply to it. Like, if you find an email from my professor, reply to it and tell him, for example, that I'll see him tomorrow. Of course, ChatGPT can't do that. Exactly, because it doesn't even have any tools integrated with it that would allow it to access my email, write an email, and then send it on its own. That's why a large language model by itself is not an AI agent. It can't take action, it can't interact with its environment, and based on those interactions, take a specific action. So that's why we can't say that an LLM by itself is an AI agent. As we mentioned, the components of an AI agent start with the LLM, which acts as its brain. The second component is the tools that are added to it so it can take action. After that, we can also mention feedback, meaning it also needs to receive feedback on the actions it takes. So guys, the LLM by itself can't really set goals. For example, I can't just tell it at 3 o'clock, add a reminder to my calendar to notify me that I have a meeting. The LLM alone can't do that, but the AI agent can. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so in the next video, God willing, we'll cover more definitions of the AI agent so we can really understand it well before we get into the practical applications we'll be working on. Peace be upon you and God's mercy.